Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Today, my guest is a up-and-coming singer as well as a model. It's my pleasure to introduce Zenais.
Hello, everyone.
There we go.
I'm very excited to be here.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So I read your Spotify bio, and that's a very extensive bio. So I just want to, for anyone who hasn't checked that out, I just want to start right there. So you had intensive piano training and like vocal training by the age of 7.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy. When I was 3 years old, basically, I just kind of like started singing like in the bathroom with my mom and everything. And she was like, wow, you can actually like hit some good notes there. So she was like, I really think that we should take you to a vocalist trainer and we should just really get you trained for that. And I was like, okay, like I was 4 years old. So I was like, sure. She waited a couple of years and I ended up going when I was 6 years old. I started working with Fran Reed and I worked with her for about like 14, 15 years of my life.
And who is Fran Reed? Is she someone prominent or is she like, who is she in
So Fran
music?
Reed is mostly just, she's a music teacher, piano teacher, vocalist trainer. So she basically trains people to either go to music colleges. Like my plan for most of my life was to go to Juilliard. Like that was the whole goal, was to go to Juilliard and be an opera singer. And that was just, my plan. And I was really excited about doing that. But just kind of later in my life, I realized I don't want to sing for someone else's opera. I want to sing my own music. I've been writing music my entire life. So why not use that opportunity and use all that training I had for me, you know? But I'm really happy I did all that because, it taught me a lot of intensive training on how to be dedicated, but it also taught me how to use my voice as well.
And that's what you wanted to do? Like, I feel like that's so crazy to go through extensive training.
Though. At the same time, I loved it because it actually got me into Tosca with the Seattle Opera. I ended up doing a full year of work with them, constant recitals. I ended up doing the show multiple nights in the week, and it was one of the most fun experiences I've ever had. I got to do acting, singing, and everything else in between,
So wait, is Tosca a performance or is it
opera? So actually an opera with the Seattle Opera. So I was just like one of the choir boys because my voice was extremely high. So they're like, well, we're just going to put you with the choir boys. So I was like wearing a wig and everything. And I'm like, sick. It's dope.
Is like a certain age you have to be part of Tosca? Or?
So you could be any range of ages. It's mostly what they're looking for. So, there was different basically roles to be casted, and I was just casted for one of the choir boys because I was at that age anyways. So it was a really cool experience, honestly, probably one of the best experiences of my life because it really set what I wanted to do on the stage and how to be comfortable on the stage.
What? Like, who the fuck does opera? That's so
For real though, I kind of think about that sometimes and I'm like, I'm in such a different point in my life now, like doing my own music and coming out of modeling and everything. It's just like, what is happening? Like, I feel like I just went through like different stages, like acting in opera, then modeling, and now I'm finally doing my own thing. So I feel like I'm really like stable and set in what I want to do right now.
You're a well-rounded artist.
I appreciate that.
Like an artist is like a general term now. I feel like you can be like the thing that I'm battling right now is like for like hip hop.
Right.
When I think of rap, I think that you have to like be good at freestyling, But now a lot of hip hop artists have no idea how to freestyle, but they're still doing rap. So they're just called artists. So
right. So
artist is like a general term now.
I feel like there's such a wide spectrum to just being an artist too. Like there's so many things. Like for instance, I've always kind of taken after the role of like Selena Gomez, for instance. Like she's an artist, she's an actor, she's a model.
Waverly Place.
Yeah, right. Wizards of Waverly Place. I love that show. It's such a great show.
Yes.
Yeah. So she's awesome. So I kind of like take after, what she's kind of doing. She's got everything going on. I'm like, I want to be in that place where I can pretty much do anything I want to in an artist area.
Or Zendaya even.
I know what?
Zendaya.
Zendaya too. Oh my gosh, she's killing it completely.
So when did you did acting? You said?
Well, technically for operas you have to do acting, so you're singing and acting at the same time. So that is another reason why I had to train my voice so much, because like being able to like use that much power in your diaphragm, but still at the same time like acting and like rolling over and like doing like little sword fights with people. I was like, what the heck is going on?
Did you do theater at all in school or?
So I didn't really do too much theater. Anytime I was in high school, I was like, get in and please get me the hell out. So that was kind of where I was at. But I mostly did all my acting just through like Tosca or like little recitals or whatnot.
Then how was like your childhood with that? Were you a cool kid or were you just like
No, I was not a cool kid in high school. I don't know, man. I feel like I have always kind of seen myself as just like I would jump from table to table and just like hang out with, random people, but I was never a cool kid. Like people didn't. I feel like I just always kind of seemed like, I don't know, an outcast in high school. I was never the cool kid. I was just always like, there.
But did you go to you didn't go to an art school then?
No, I was actually homeschooled up until middle school. So I would travel with my parents mostly when I was kids because my parents were missionaries. So I ended up traveling most of my life in elementary school, went to school in middle school, and then, pretty much did BC after that and then graduated. And I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done.
So are you Christian then, or?
I'm pretty much agnostic now. I grew up Christian, but I just kind of later on in my life didn't really set the same ideals as my parents. So I believe in like a higher deity, but I don't like set my life, with rules for a religion or whatnot.
Yeah, I've been seeing that a lot lately with people.
Yeah, it's just I feel like you only have one life to live, right? And if there is a higher deity,
Jesus
I feel like
is that life though.
I don't know about that. I just feel like I don't know. It's a very gray area where it's just like, I think that, people, when they have something to believe in, they want to dedicate their life to that. When they feel love from a higher deity, all they want to do is give it back. But I sometimes feel like that gets miscued with just daily things in your life, Just do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's one life.
I think it's maybe just comes down to like community. Like you're part of like an art community, so maybe you don't need to lean on Christianity as a community, because maybe I don't know, I feel like if you're really invested in Christianity, that's all you're thinking about. I could be wrong.
Exactly. I don't know.
But if you're an artist, you're focused more on that community. If you want to be part of church, you're focused on going to church every day and connecting with the Bible.
Exactly. I feel like it takes a lot of dedication for you to be in a religion as well. So I think for me it's just like what my, I guess, religion is spreading love. Like that's what everyone needs. I mean, hell yeah. But honestly, seriously, everyone needs a little bit of love in their life, and I think that's what I want to push for, and that's something I want to push through my music is making people feel inspired about themselves and feel self-empowerment, feel self-love, because it took me a long time in my life to finally love myself,
right? But do you
even go ahead.
Does that come from I feel like that's so intense to be like, I guess you're not forced to do music at a young age. You probably enjoyed it, but
I did.
Anyone that's even if it's have you seen The Breakfast Club?
I have it a really long time ago.
When was that? Do you know when that was, Oli? That was
I think
that
it was
80s.
Maybe, 80s or early 90s. I'm not sure.
I was forced to watch that recently. I just can't watch.
Like it?
I can't watch 80s movies for some reason.
Yeah, I get it. It's also the quality. I'm sorry, but now in this day and age, I for instance, Black Mirror or Love, Death, Robots. I love watching those kind of shows. I know, it's so good. I love Love, Death, Robots.
That's
I always I binged the entire show.
First season's way better though.
It's
way
so much better.
Too.
And also they have funny episodes. In the second season, where are the funny episodes?
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
But with Breakfast Club, there was that character who was a wrestler, and he didn't actually like wrestling. He just wanted to make his dad proud. So I feel there's you can be intense into child acting or music or sports or fucking chess or whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
exactly.
But I feel maybe at a certain age, you just have to weigh it out, because you want, if you're a parent, if you see your kids leaning towards something that they like, you obviously want to push them in that direction. But when do you know if it's too much or not?
That's a good question, actually, because I don't think parents know sometimes. I mean, I told my mom, I was like, okay, I think I'm done. I'm getting a little stressed out, because also going to school at the same time as doing intensive opera, that's where it started getting really tricky, because I wasn't homeschooled anymore.
Right.
So being able to juggle that, I think I've always had a hard time trying to find a balance between work, school, and personal life as well.
Yeah.
So I took a little bit of a break, and then I started back up 16 to 18. I did some more recitals, but once I was 18, I realized I was okay, I think that this chapter of my life is really good for a reason to push me into the next chapter.
Right.
So I just felt all the intensive training, I was I don't think I need that anymore. But I think I just need to learn that dedication just for myself at home, practicing my own songs.
Can you break glass with your voice?
I did once.
Oh,
I
shit.
did once, but that was when I was literally training every single day, and I was 7 or 8. So I've been trying since then. It has not worked.
That's craziness.
It was really cool. I just wish someone freaking got it on video. I was like, Mom! Yeah.
So the first section was opera, and then When did you start picking up like modeling?
18 actually. So
Okay.
as soon as I graduated, I actually never thought I was going to be a model whatsoever. I did not think I had the look for it or anything like that. I didn't even know how to take photos. Like anytime I'd see photos of myself, I'd be like, but my friend, she had been doing modeling for a little bit, and she was like, I think you have the look for it. Like, you should try it out. So I did my first shoot. The photos were great, but I feel like I wasn't doing very well, so I just kept doing more shoots, and just being able to.
Like with a company, or how did you start out?
So I started out actually working with Roger Lurie. That was the first photographer I ever worked with.
Okay.
He's a pretty well-known photographer in Seattle. So I started working out with him, and then I started just hitting up other Seattle photographers around the area, and just started working with them and really seeing like, angles, and actually seeing how I can use my body as art in a way, which I think is super freaking cool in itself. So basically about a year or two later, I got signed with my MA LRJ. They're based in New York and now Miami, and she's awesome. Okay. Hi, Laura. If you watch this.
Yeah, break down what that is, because that's LRJ.
LRJ, so they're an MA management, and she ended up, so basically an MA is someone that helps you get signed to other agencies. They help you with your portfolio, etc. So basically she got signed, she helped me get signed with Heffner here in Seattle, and then I've been working with them for the past 3 years. So
oh shit, and Heffner's like the main.
There's like 2 main agencies in Seattle, so or 3. There's TCM, SMG, and Heffner, and I'm with Heffner, and they're great. So.
And what makes one modeling agency better than another one?
I don't think there's anything that makes them better than the other. I think that they all have like their wide ranges of being able to get models booked and etc. I personally really like Heffner just because, also it's the only agency I've really ever like known, so I can't really say much. But they've got me with some really good bookings before, and I actually ended up just working with Mama Label, the swimwear company this year, and they're incredible, sustainable swimwear. So just the people I've been able to work with through them is pretty awesome too.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So have you learned how to get like sponsors and things through modeling?
So I would say on my own for sure. I started just hitting random people up on Instagram like, hey, do you want to do a collab? Like basically they would send me clothes or send me whatever product they have, and I would take photos for them and post them on my Instagram, and sometimes it's paid, sometimes it's not, but no matter what, it's really cool being able to just like work with brands through social media. Like technology is crazy now. So
and then how'd you build up your fucking Instagram page?
Oh
That's
my gosh.
wildness.
So when I first started,
tell people how many followers you have. That's just
114K, which is still crazy to me because I really don't feel like a number makes even a difference or whatnot. I've kind of just always been me. Like it doesn't even like really phase it for me, to be honest. And honestly, I think it like brought a little bit more anxiety to me when I gained more people on my social media, because I was like, oh my gosh, I need to like watch what I'm doing or etc. But really, like social media is just like up for the art of interpretation. You get to post what you want to do, do things that make you feel comfortable. So I've been trying to push my page more lately into just more music stuff rather than just modeling stuff as well. But yeah, I pretty much grew my page. At first I started just like shooting with other photographers that had like a good following, or just being able to like go to LA and New York and shoot with people around there and be able to post photos, and people kind of like see your photos from Explorer and whatnot.
Well, how does that work? How does Explorer, do you know how Explorer actually
Explorer
works?
is crazy. Like it basically, if your photo starts doing well, if it gets saves, if it gets comments, and if it starts doing well on Instagram's algorithm or whatever social media platform you're using, it targets people that want to see more stuff that you're kind of posting. So the more music stuff I've been posting, the more people I've been getting that actually like my music, which is the coolest freaking part, because it's not just like modeling anymore. I mostly, my following when I was growing and whatnot were mostly men. And to be honest, I wish I had more female following, because I mean, who doesn't need more female following? So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. That's where I really want to target, is being able to bring more females to my account and just like, you know, divine femininity.
Do hashtags help with that?
Hashtags do help, yeah, sometimes. I feel like anytime I use hashtags, I feel like there's some people that pop over and whatnot, but I think it's more people that just see your photos if you have hashtags, which is still good.
But it's important for you not to just be in one box, and it seems like. You had opera, but you don't want to just be an opera person. Do modeling. You just don't want to be a modeling person or model, I guess.
Well, I think that I'm still kind of like modeling, but kind of just, you know, going with the flow on that. I think that you really have to push for one thing at a time, because otherwise I would get extremely overwhelmed. You know, so I think right now being able to push for music, I think all of this was leading up to this point in my life. And that kind of makes me emotional too, because just being able to like see, you know, all the work I did with opera and all the work I got to do with modeling. I love those parts of my life, but I can really see it all falling into a domino effect for what I'm doing right now. And that's something that's really, really cool.
That's super exciting.
Yeah. I feel like the universe is really just like showing me where I'm at and what path I want to go on. And yeah, it's happening. So
what's made you stand out compared to like other models to get like that crazy of a following?
I have no idea. I think that's just, the algorithm. I don't know. I don't know. Don't ask me.
I feel like no one has the actual answers for social media. It's just up in the air.
Exactly.
Honestly.
I mean, you also see so many people that are really, really, really famous. And I think it's also, they were like the first famous people when Instagram and TikTok started, or just somehow like their content just blew up. Like for instance, like, you know, on TikTok, just like the little dances and everything that was blowing people up. And I tried to do something that was bad.
Let's go find
Not
those
going through
dances.
it again. Don't look up those. I deleted them anyways. So
how'd you get into your music that you're releasing now?
Oh my goodness. So I was actually on a booking, and this was in Oregon from Heffner and everything, and I met a model there, and he actually connected me with my first producer I ever worked with, Chris Pack, and that's
not just like a little producer. That's dope.
Yeah, he's
so tell people who
too.
Chris Pack is.
I love Chris Pack. So Chris Pack is from Seattle. He's worked with a bunch of artists and rappers and different people in Seattle, and he has an amazing sound too. Usually worked in hip hop and R&B, but when we started working together, we really started like kind of opening both of our portfolios to pop, and that's something that I've always felt comfortable with too, and that R&B as well. So he helped bring more songs for me that were more in that R&B style as well.
And what year was this probably?
This was 2019 when I first started working with him. So first started just like getting in the studio and started feeling it out, and we just started busting out music. We worked together for probably about like 6 months, and then the pandemic happened. So I pretty much started my full music career. Like my first song I ever put out was January 2020. And then 2 months later, the entire country shut down. So I just kept making music throughout the entire the pandemic. You know, Chris was with his family. So, you know, in that pandemic time, it wasn't really time to like, you know, hang out and go to the studio and whatnot. So he actually introduced me to the digital.
There we go.
And digital. And I ended up working with Jake for that full year, and we just kept busting out music. So we were pretty productive in the pandemic, which was awesome too, because it's like I had so much free time on my hands, and he did as well. Like, why not? Let's make some music. So that's super exciting. We just had a release just come out called Just Friends. It was out on August 11th. Go check it out.
Yes, go check that out.
Go check it. But yeah, just had that release, and that's been one of my top songs that I've created, because it's interesting. It's my shortest song that I've ever done, but I think that I, you know, had a point to say and I said it. And, you know, I don't think there was anything more I really wanted to add to the song. And I also kind of on the side wanted to test the theory of like nowadays in 2021, you notice a lot of short songs are really blowing up. Like for instance, like Pink Parenthesis, like a lot of her songs are 1.5 to 2 minutes, and people just keep replaying that because they want to hear more of it because it's so short. So it's interesting to see that. And now Just Friends is doing better than any of my other songs on Spotify. It's almost at 30K right now, which is crazy. So I'm like, yeah.
That's super exciting.
Yeah, it's really exciting. So just going to keep pushing out some more music. Have another release coming up probably in a couple weeks to a few weeks. I'm just waiting on PR to send it out and pretty much get it going.
So you have like an artist PR too?
I do. I hired a PR. His name is Ever. Shout out to Ever. But yeah, we've just been working on trying to get pitches for different magazines or brands just to really like help promote my music well as well, because I think that's the hardest part, is really trying to get an ear for the audience that I want to capture, which is, you know, mostly people in their like 20s and 30s or their teens or whatever, and mostly women too. Like I'm seeing like even on Spotify it's like 53% men, and I'm like, come on ladies.
Right.
Where you at?
No, I see that.
Yeah.
So break down the digital thing one more time, because was that when he was working with Philip Peters at
Yeah. That's when he was working with Philip Peterson. We were working at that studio, and
House of Breaking Glass.
House of Breaking Glass. Yep. So we worked there for a bit, and that's where we made the first album. And I'll probably have that album coming out in the early of next year. That's what I'm aiming for right now. Just got to get like all the masters on that and videos and whatnot. I'll be doing some more videos with Gemma as well.
Shout out Gemma.
Shout out to Gemma. But yeah, so I'm super excited. I'm just seeing finally the path happen. I'm like, it's all coming together, because in the pandemic I pretty much was just making music, but at the same time like the music industry pretty much shut down, so I was like, all right, I'm just gonna wait a little bit, put out music and see what happens.
So would you say you're in the pop realm, or how would you describe your music to?
I would say the most like the full genre is gonna be pop, but at the same time I feel like I kind of slip out of pop sometimes, where it goes a little bit more R&B or a little bit more I wouldn't say indie, I would say a little bit more like ethereal and a little bit alternative as well. Like I feel like it's not, when you listen to it, it's not just like catchy pop, it's something out of its realm in a way, you know what I mean?
Me and Oli were having a conversation. Shout out Oli again, that's our intern for Third Wheel Podcast Studio.
Oh yeah.
we were on Spotify yesterday just seeing, because I've been getting more into interviewing like bands. And I was like, oh shit, the bands probably have like a top 100 or like whatever. Like I always get like news feeds of like new hip hop songs or even R&B songs or pop songs coming out, but I've never really heard anything new about new rock bands coming out.
Yeah, facts. Because I think rock just kind of like started not being as on the top charts anymore, which I think is kind of crazy, because rock is like almost the most raw genre of music, like true emotion as well, which of course all music has true emotion. Every single song is up for interpretation of art. But I think rock has so much strength in it that I really think it should come back as well.
And when me and Oli were looking, it like what showed up as like indie music was like actual like rappers or like emo rap or things like that for like rock.
No way.
We're like, that's crazy. So basically, if you could say your music is alternative indie.
Yeah, in a way.
Like Ian Dior showed up as fucking alternative indie music.
That's wild. That's so crazy. I mean, honestly, like, what really is a genre? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like all genres are starting to blend together now, which is really cool. And also, like, punk, pop punk is starting to come back too, which is super sick too. Shout out Halsey's new album as well. I Am Not a Woman, I Am a God. That song is incredible. Like, if you haven't listened to it yet, go check it out.
I definitely need to check that shit out.
Yeah, super good.
So did you know there was a pop scene or a music scene in general when you first started music in 2019, or?
Well, I definitely knew there was like, what do you mean by that question?
Like how there's like, we went to like Anna Thompson's release party and there's pop artists there, or like Fluency through like a poppertree, and that's a little pop community. There's like artists, like hip hop community where they're performing at like, well, they try to perform at like Numos or whatever other events, and there's like bands that are performing at like bars. Right. And then like the digital is obviously part of like the music industry, like music scene. So did you realize there was like a thriving community of artists, or when you thought of music, did you think of just like a Macklemore or whoever was?
I knew that there was a community of artists that were really that were really excelling in Seattle as well. Like I knew of Ellis Prescott as well.
Oh, yes.
So he's super awesome. I actually did a song with him as well. That's the next one that's going to be coming out too, which is super sick.
Have you met his sister?
I have not met his sister. Yeah, but he's amazing. He's so talented. We just ended up jamming with Chris Pack in the studio and made the song Begging for More. So that's the first time I've said it out loud too, which I'm very excited. But I didn't really know that there was like a full true pop community though. Like once I started really hanging out with Gemma and her friends, I noticed that there was a huge pop community. Also, Gemma's the kind of person that just really knows how to bring people together too. So I met Anna through her and met the whole group through them. So it's been really cool, and I actually value Gemma and Abby and Ty and Lily all as true friends as well. They're incredible. They're a complete video team as well, girl band productions. But at the same time, they're just true friends as well. So I'm really happy I've got to meet all of them, and I got to meet you.
And how'd you meet Gemma?
So it was actually really funny. I had no idea like she fully did videos. Like I thought I saw her I saw her through Anna Thompson's post, actually.
Okay.
So I've been following Anna Thompson because Anna Thompson is actually a childhood best friend and one of my best friends, too.
Really?
Everything's such a small world.
That's wild.
Yeah, so I had saw the photo she did with Gemma, and I was like, these are stunning. So I hit up Gemma. I was like, hey, you want to do a photo shoot? Just like a photo shoot, right? And it was like a little blind date. Like, we met each other, and we're like so nervous and awkward. We're like, hey, how's it going? And then she told me she did videos and everything, and I was like, oh, what up, dude? Yeah, let's do a video together. So that's why we ended up doing just friends together. And then she introduced me to all of her friends, and of course like Abby and Ty were on set as well, and then we had Casey do the video as well. He was acting in it, and it was just a good time. So then I just started hanging out with them all the time, and it's been really cool, and getting to know Anna as well. She's awesome.
Yeah, and you featured in some of their like cameos in some of the music videos too, which is pretty dope.
Yeah, I was in Anna Thompson's Hot Now video, which is super cool. I was like, yeah, so it was a good time. It's been a really good time.
So how are you feeling about your music? Like, are you excited for these new releases? Or
I'm
nervous?
super excited. I'm very nervous at the same. Yeah, because I feel like every song, I've put a lot of love and heart into, and I really talk about my own stories that I've had in my life as well. So of course you feel like vulnerability when you're putting out songs. Like people I feel like are really seeing into your life a bit more, which is, for me, I'm very personal. Like I like to talk about my life, but I also like having, my personal stuff as well. So I think putting it out makes me really nervous and vulnerable, but at the same time, this is what I was born and this is what I was meant to do. That's what I fully believe. So I think that out of anything, I'm really excited. I'm really excited.
There we go. And is your family pretty supportive of you making music? Or?
Yeah, they've always been pretty supportive of me making music. Of course, my parents want me to go more onto the Christian side of singing, but at the same time, I've told them, that was my part of my life then. This is my part of my life now. And, my dad's listened to my songs and everything. He's like, this is pretty good. I'm like, thanks. So that's pretty awesome. Like for them to be able to listen to music I have now that's actually like online too. So it's really cool.
So do you still follow like opera or like symphonies or plays or ballets or anything in Seattle?
So what do you mean like follow?
Do you ever like check them out, like go to like operas or?
I haven't really recently. Of course, I love going to the Nutcracker. Yeah, exactly. The pandemic, there was not really much in the past couple of years, but of course the Nutcracker. I love going to the Nutcracker. I used to go to the ballet every single year to the Nutcracker with my mother as well. So that's really I don't know, very emotional for me as well, just to go every year. But with Tosca, I think I saw Tosca a few years later when they had casted an entire new group and everything, and that was really cool to actually be in the audience and see it because I had never done that before. I had always just been performing it. No, at the same time, they were pretty damn good. I was like, all right, you guys stepped up. But I used to go to just operas all the time with my music teacher and my mother when I was little, but not as much when I'm older. I've been trying to like really go to more concerts or go to more festivals rather later in my life because I never did that as a kid. So kind of just new things.
Oh shit! Just because strict parents, or just to know what to do, or?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. I wasn't really, like, allowed to... Well, I was also way too young. Like, I wasn't really allowed to go to, like, any concerts, like, before, 18 and whatnot. So I pretty much just started going to everything when I was 18. Right. I was like, woo, I'm out.
So what concerts do you like to go to in Seattle? Is it, like, more hip-hop? Is it raves? Or what is it?
So I've definitely gone to a lot more raves than I have concerts. I want to start going to a lot more concerts this year. Like, I really want to check out just some more artists that I listen to on a daily rather than just, go to some festivals. But I just came back from Bass Canyon. That was always a good time. Like I definitely do love dubstep too, and it's great to see in person as well. Like for instance, Ganja White Night. Like I love that. I love those guys. Those guys are awesome. But yeah, I've just mostly gone to festivals. And then my first concert I ever went to was Russ. He was great to see. So gone to a couple concerts, but not too much. Definitely want to go to some more.
So how do you go from opera to being into EDM music?
I kind of like always have been into EDM music. Like I started really listening to it when I was 16. The first group I ever listened to was Above and Beyond, and they really just set me into the world of EDM. And also my boyfriend currently, he has always loved EDM too. So we've just been kind of like going to festivals and listening to EDM ever since too. So it's always been a good time. Yeah.
And would you say the digital knows how to make EDM music at all? Because I know some of your
A little
guys'
bit.
music is.
Yeah. So the more and more we started working together too, I was like, we should really try to go into a little bit more of the electronic realm. Like really try to go into, into some heavier drops without really like a lot of vocals, or maybe just a vocal chop instead. So we started playing with those ideas, and we actually have a few songs that are going to be in the album that are definitely a lot more electronic, rather than just normal pop or like R&B or whatnot, but there's actually like electronic drops in there, so I'm very excited for that too.
Like I see you use your voice as like an instrument almost.
Exactly. Yeah. So when there's vocal chops, just being able to really tune in with the melody and play around with that, it sounds a lot better when you're sometimes just doing vocal chops rather than just like singing on an electronic drop too.
You should work with Fluency. Have you?
I should. I know. I actually like got his Instagram and everything. I was like, we should work together. And also, me and Anna were talking about doing a collab in the future soon. So why not, right? Yeah. So
that's just so crazy. This like pop community that I've just happened to.
Right? Yeah, this like huge pop community. I think it's so cool, especially like Anna Thompson's party. Just the energy in that house was incredible. Like everyone was just so kind, everyone was so welcoming, everyone just had that kind of energy of like, let's do this shit. Are
you able to give like tips to any up and coming artists? Because like you did all the like extensive training when you were younger. Like I know Nicky Buell, he hadn't done any vocal training. I think he's doing it now, but like before, like he would
Which
just
is
sing
insane
all
to
the
me
time.
because his voice is incredible. Like the strength he gets from his voice too is just gorgeous. I love Nicky as well. But I would say my advice is always just use from your diaphragm. Make sure that you're not ever lifting your shoulders. What my teacher used to do is put a ruler on the back of my neck and on my shoulders so that the ruler would not move when I'm singing. And especially with opera, you're having to use so much strength that sometimes it's really, really hard not to move your shoulders. It's harder than you think. So just being able to not move your shoulders, thinking of your body as a pillar, and just being able to take all of the breath and all of the strength to your diaphragm, that's where you're going to get the most strength in your voice. Is never from your throat, it's always from your diaphragm. And just making sure, just like practice every day. Vocal warm-ups are definitely key, especially if you're ever performing. Just practice for like 20 to 30 minutes just doing vocal warm-ups, not even the song, just like
holy
like,
shit. Wait, is that what you do every day?
Yeah, like for my vocal warm-ups, we'd do an hour a day, and every
you're
single
with someone?
With Fran Reed for when I was
sorry,
I should
okay.
we went into rambled on there. But yeah, when I was a kid, she every single day I would work with her. It'd be an hour of vocal warm-ups, and every key she'd play it would be like so
what the hell?
Yeah, just doing like different stuff, being able to like really try to like use your voice. I don't know.
So do you have to write also every day, or like how's that work for you?
I write when I get a spark. For me, it's either one way or the other, where I go into the studio, and I've been working with Elon Wright as well. Like sometimes he'll just,
He's been on the podcast.
Oh hell yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I just started working with him a few months ago too, so it's been really cool to just like work with different producers and see their kind of flows as well. So for instance, with Elon, like he'll just start making something, and I'm really tuning in to like how he's making the song as well. So then I start writing there, and if I get sparks, I'll just start writing. If I don't get a spark, then I'll just take the song home, write when I'm home, whenever I get the spark. Because I've noticed whenever I try to push myself to write, I'm not going to get as good as lyrics, and I'm not going to really tune into what my emotions feel as much as it just coming to me,
So you've just worked with some pretty dope producers. You're pretty set with the people you're working with.
They're all awesome. They're freaking awesome. And I feel like I'm very grateful, because I feel like I never would have thought any of this would have happened to me. I never thought that, like, I didn't even know the starting steps on how to work with a producer, or like how to even get in a studio or whatnot. And I also just like, I don't know. I just didn't really know what I was doing at that point in my life. So I think it was a serious sign from the universe when I started working with Chris, and then Chris introduced me to the digital, and Chris also introduced me to Elon. So just being able to work with three of those amazing human beings has been just an incredible experience for me.
Hell
yeah, it's been really freaking cool.
And how do you like know your worth as an artist?
Whoa. Oh my goodness. It's a deep question. Wow, hit me right in the heartstrings. I don't know. I feel like I know my worth just because I can't see myself doing anything else. So I have to know, I have to be able to like be mindful every day of like, who am I? What do I want? What am I worth? And I think it's, like I said, it's taken me a long time to realize like just love for myself. So finally I feel like I'm really starting this relationship with myself, or I'm falling in love with myself. And that's probably one of the coolest experiences. So I think that's how I know my worth, is by able to be aware of like your self-love and be aware that, I think I'm good at music. I think I am, so we'll roll with that.
There we go.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like artist communities, like I've noticed with me, like all my friends are like basically like artists now. What is your friend base like? Is it mixture between artists and people who do other things, or like who do you surround yourself with usually?
So I usually surround myself with, one of my best friends, I met her 6 or 7 years ago when I was working at Starbucks.
Shout out Starbucks.
No, I do not shout out Starbucks. I'm sorry, but you guys burn your coffee, even though I have Starbucks. Don't lie.
Wait, they burn their coffee?
They do. They always burn the coffee. It's just because they heat it up a little bit too long. So even when I was sipping my latte this morning, I was like, you guys burn it.
Oh,
it's fine. I basically was a barista even before Starbucks. Like, I've just loved making coffee. So you just don't burn your coffee. Anyways.
Oh my God. I worked at Starbucks. I don't know much about coffee, honestly. I'll drink fucking cold coffee from a coffee pot like 2 days later and be like, this is the best shit I've ever had.
I mean, coffee is coffee. Coffee is just good, But I don't know. I think I have acquired a taste for coffee as well. So I'm like, don't burn my coffee.
Like, do you have like an espresso maker at your house or anything?
No, I just have a Keurig.
Same.
So I don't know what I'm talking about anyways. Off the coffee tangent. What was the question again?
Oh, like, yeah, who do you surround yourself with?
Surround myself with. I met one of my best friends at Starbucks, and she is just one of the most incredible human beings, and I've had her in my life for, almost 6 or 7 years now, so that's completely even out of the realm of, like, artists and etc., but she's also, like, an actual artist herself. She's amazing at drawing, and she's actually at school right now for graphic design, which is super cool.
We need more graphic designers, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. And then also, I definitely have friends that I met through modeling as well, like through Heffner too. And then also my artist friends like Anna Thompson and Gemma and Abby and Ty and Tylea. She's also just killing it with music as well. And it's just crazy to
I keep forgetting that song. It's like, do you wanna
get to know me? Yep. Yeah, it's so good. But yeah, so it's actually really cool to like see my friend group right now and realize that we're all motivated in the arts. So that's pretty sick.
Hell yeah.
I've noticed like definitely you are who you attract as well.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh yeah, all my friends are creative. Hell yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
So what are your hobbies outside of music and modeling?
Well, I love fashion.
Okay, I see you. Look at you.
Yeah.
I just came up with a fucking green shirt.
Hey, we're matching with the green though.
There we go.
You know, this nice like pale green. We got the like dark green with the yellow.
Yeah, we matched on purpose.
Yes. There we go. But I love fashion. I've loved fashion ever since I was a little girl. I used to like just dress myself up in like whatever outfits I could find. So I've definitely always taken style into my identity as well. Like, dress good, feel good. That's kind of my motto. So definitely I love clothes, hanging out with friends, going on hikes once in a while, reading. I love to read. Just being outside. I'm trying
Connect
to
with Mother Nature.
Yes, one with nature. Because also we're in Washington, and it is so beautiful during the summertime too. Like you can't not be outside. It's just like sitting outside, reading a book, having some coffee, and
the coffee. You need the coffee.
Yes, need the coffee while reading the book. And
a
joint,
book?
And a joint, and
and
then
a
joint, and just relax. That's kind of my vibe.
There
so
we go. Hippie, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much. Like I'm very into like crystals, and I'm very into like I have a crap ton of plants. So I'm like, yes, I am one with everything. My rocks and plants.
There we go.
I get home and I'm like, the energy is serene in here. Yes.
Oh my God.
So yeah, it's a good time.
People.
And my cat.
Oh.
Shout out to Bubba. He's the best cat in the world.
Bubba.
Bubba. I got him 2 years ago, and he's a little tuxedo cat. He's a little goatee, and he's a big cuddler. So definitely spent a lot of my time with him, and it's fun.
Hell yeah.
We cuddle.
Are you good at training cats? Like I've realized, if you have
weirdly
a kitten,
am.
kittens, or if you train a kitten,
Yep.
you can make it seem like a dog, like grow up to be like a dog.
That's exactly my cat. I literally taught him to sit, so he knows when to sit now. He knows how to lie down. When I call him, he comes to me. Yeah, he pretty much does anything for treats. He's very food driven. So when he was a kitten, I was just like, man, I gotta train him to just like make sure he doesn't also pee anywhere, because cats are very territorial, and I live in an apartment. So I was like, there is no way this is happening. So he's actually pretty trained. He's never, done anything outside of his litter box. So he's pretty good.
That's awesome. I didn't even know you could teach a cat to sit and
You
all
were
that.
right, though. Like, when they're kittens, you can't actually train them. And, I had cats growing up, but I was like 5 or 6 when we first got them, so I didn't really know how to train kittens. But now, finally having my own cat, being an adult, I'm like, we're going to try to do this. I also taught him how to be on a halter, and we took him camping one time, and he was totally chill with it. Like, literally just camped with us for a couple days.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so I was like, I have a cool cat, dude.
Dude, shout out Bubba.
Shout out Bubba. This is awesome. I'm loving this interview. How we get to my cat. Yes, I'm the crazy cat lady, pretty much.
Crazy
well,
hippie cat lady.
Pretty much, yeah.
He likes coffee.
Yes, and also writes music. So yeah, man, all well-rounded.
That's awesome. Yeah, you are well-rounded. You seem like a very interesting lady.
Oh, you do too. It was
Lady,
very cool to meet you. I was like, hey, wait a second, I know you.
There we go.
Yeah, this has been awesome. I love these questions too. You're doing great at it.
Thank you so much.
Amazing. Circle clap.
So what is some final advice that you have for up-and-coming artists, creators, influencers?
I think my final advice is just the first thing I would say is be mindful. Just take your day as it comes. I feel like the secret of happiness is just fully enjoying life and being mindful and living in the moment, but also in the back of your head, focus on what you need to do. Take each step as it comes. And I really feel like that is what it is with music, because you're recording. The creative process is probably, I would say, one of the easiest. It's once you're done creating, just make sure that, you have someone lined up to do covers for you. Make sure you have someone lined up to like do videos for you and masters and et cetera, because there's multiple different steps that you gotta be able to do. And sometimes it's extremely overwhelming, because I've definitely sat in my house and been like, I don't know what I'm doing. But you gotta realize in those moments, you're not alone. You have, people that you can reach out to on over social media, like check out the artists or other creators in your area to be able to collab with too, You can always ask questions. So if anyone feels like they have questions they want to ask about, being an upcoming artist, always shoot me a DM and I'll try to respond. So
there we go.
Yeah.
And what is the easiest way for people to reach you?
Either email. My email is iamzenais@gmail.com. So you can always send me some inquiry.
And spell that. You have a crazy spelling for you.
I know. I actually, what's weird enough is I found Zenais from when I was looking at cat names. But I saw that it was like Zenais, and I was like, I think this is such a cool name. It actually means the daughter of Zeus, all confident and courageous. I was like, that's what I want to be. And also, I just felt like it really fit well. I was like, this is what I want. So yeah, I think it's a cool spelling. I'm like, I don't know, it's different.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
There we go. This is the NAST podcast with
Zenais.